Sagittarius, hello. Welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. This is going to be your monthly reading for December 2025. We're going to go ahead and take a look at any challenges and opportunities that this month has in store for you, as well as what you should be releasing and embracing as we head into this month for you. I can't believe it's already December. Time has been flying. And if you're like me and you are a planner, I am going to be opening up some bookings for 2026, a year in review, or I guess I don't really know what to call it, but essentially we're going to be taking a look at 2026 12-month overview. That's it. And we're going to be taking a look at each of the months and what is in store, just a general idea of what 2026 has in store. You can set that up by emailing me steprightin@gmail.com, or just check the link in the description, or just check the description for that email. And we can go ahead and set that up for you if that is something that you're interested in. Okay. All the cards have been pre-shuffled, so let's go ahead and get right into it and see what December has in store for you, Sagittarius. Okay. We're actually going to put that there. Okay. So maybe I should do it like this. It wouldn't be a tarot reading if I didn't mess with cards a million times. So there we are. For the challenge here, we have that Ace of Pentacles. So that's really quite interesting. I'm wondering if there's an opportunity that you passed out on, or you passed up on, or if you feel like you're missing out on opportunities here. You're missing out on something. But we'll go ahead and see what that means once we clarify. Opportunity here, Ten of Swords. It's interesting presentation, right? When I see this, because typically we would like to see this in the reverse. The challenge is the ending. The opportunity is an ace, right? Which is literally an opportunity, but yet it's in the reverse for you, Sagittarius. So the opportunity is for something to come to an end here. It feels like perhaps you're stuck not getting an opportunity and you're kind of like, oh, why is this not happening for me? Why is this not happening for me? And perhaps it's because you have to close out a loop that you've been avoiding, or that you have been delaying for some time, right? And with that Ten of Swords, the good news with that is that that ending is, it's almost like when you procrastinate and you're like, oh my God, I have to do this. And it's like you procrastinate long enough that it's like, this thing it like dominates your headspace. But then once you actually do this thing, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, because we've allowed it to become a bigger thing and take more space than it needs, right? So it feels like nothing's coming. And again, we'll clarify, but that opportunity that you're seeking isn't coming because you haven't closed out an ending. Okay. In terms of what we should be releasing here, Strength. So again, interesting presentation here, right? I'm wondering if you're doubting yourself, or if you're, if you're being too lenient with something and it requires a stronger stance. What you should be embracing here, Hanged Man, new perspective, right? I'm wondering if there's some aspect of strength, of inner strength, of perseverance that you've been relying upon and it's not been working, right? As it relates to, well, why am I not getting this opportunity? Well, why are you, not closing a loop on something, right? And perhaps we need to take a closer look at, what is driving us, or the kind of self-talk that we have that we can rely on, right, to persevere, and that inner strength. Is there something missing from that we're not aware of, right? Also with this Hanged Man here, I'm wondering if the reason we haven't closed whatever loop is because it leaves you in a difficult it leaves you in a difficult situation or a difficult space socially, right? And so the challenge, or sorry, what you should be releasing is that pride, and moving to a position where you're kind of humbling yourself, right? And again, we'll clarify, but as I'm talking through it, it feels like that kind of makes more sense here. With that Eight of Cups in the shadow, the Seven of Swords in the shadow, and then we have that Knight of Cups, as well as that Page of Pentacles. So taking a practical look at everything, which I feel like Sagittarius, you do that. But going from that 8 to the 7, right? Walking away and understanding that someone might be trying to stop you from walking away from a situation, right? And are you strong enough to continue walking away, right? Is that the right move for you? So some very interesting questions here. Of course, we're going to go ahead and clarify. But first, I'm going to tend to the puppy who needs some attention. So I will be right back. And for you, it'll be like a blip. All right, let's go ahead and see. Let's get some clarifiers for that Ace of Pentacles in terms of the challenges, please. All right. And let's get some clarifiers for that 10 of Swords as the opportunity. Let's get some clarifiers, please, for that 10 of Swords. Thank you. Let's get some clarifiers for that Strength card. Let's get one more clarifier for that Strength card in terms of what to release, please. Thank you. And show me that Hanged Man in terms of what Sagittarius should be embracing in December. Show me that Hanged Man, please. Thank you. There you are. Okay. All right. Da, da, da. Okay. So, Ace of Pentacles here we have clarified by the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, Three of Pentacles, the Chariot, Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. Okay. So the challenge here, it feels like you're not... Yeah, it kind of feels like what I was speaking on before, which is kind of like whatever you've been working on hasn't been sticking, or you feel like your work hasn't been focused in the area that you wanted it to be as it relates to whatever this opportunity is here, okay? And I'm wondering if with that Three of Pentacles, Chariot, and the Wheel of Fortune here, you were trying to push for something new to happen here. But because your work wasn't on track, it just feels like whatever this is, it's not meant to be. Like it's just not meant for you, Sagittarius. And it feels like you've been really trying to make it fit or make it work as it relates to whatever this opportunity is or this new thing that you've been trying to make happen. Like you've been really determined in that, but it feels like it's not been, the work hasn't been grounded, or you've been too focused on it. Like it feels forced is, I think, what the message that I'm trying to have come across here. It feels like you're forcing this opportunity to come, and it feels like it's not coming because it's not right for you at this time, okay? With that 10 of Swords, we have the Six of Pentacles, the Devil, and that Six of Cups. I'm just going to check the Rider-Waite to see 2 6s here, which is what we have on the clarifiers. And there is some nice balance there, but that Devil, He's popping up, downfall. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So 2 6s, according to Rider-Waite and his key to the tarot, 2 6s represent downfall. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. This isn't meant for you because we're still in one aspect or another, consciously or unconsciously, putting an effort into something or putting our attention into something that we need to finish. We need to close out that loop. And it could be, you know, addictions, indulgences, you know, negative thought patterns, you know, really digging your heels in. And that's, it feels like whatever this is has been like, it feels like, it's just been like festering, right? And just getting like dominating. And, you know, just becoming slowly a bigger and bigger issue here. And it feels like the universe or spirit is not going to give you the opportunity or give you what it is that you're looking for and signaling that you want, because there's something about how you show up, what you're giving to, in your material plane being disconnected to how you're feeling emotionally. So yeah, I mean, it could be addiction. Maybe we're living, you know, maybe just being a little overindulgent, right? It is the holidays that we're heading into as well. But it looks like there's some sort of aspect of that where like there's some sort of behavior that you've been relying on to feel some sort of something too much. And it feels like we're not getting this because the work that you've been putting into this, you think has been really getting you to that point. But there's some aspect here that perhaps you haven't seen yet, or perhaps you haven't realized you're relying on as a kind of crutch to bridge the gap between what you're giving to physically and what you're receiving emotionally, right? And it feels like that's what we're addressing here. And to be clear, it doesn't have to be like, you know, substances or anything like that. It could be codependency. It could be, you know, stubborn, right? It could be refusing to see anybody else's perspective here, refusing to budge on, you know, some aspect or some view of yourself, right? And so we're giving to something externally to hope that that fills us internally, and it's not. And so we need to address this before the universe can give us this, is kind of what I'm seeing here for you, Sagittarius, okay? With that strength card, we have that clarified in terms of what we should be releasing. Strength, right? We have strength in the reverse along with the King of Swords and the Hermit here. Oh, pupper. Hang on one second. So I apologize. I normally do these readings in the morning and it's less disruptive in the household than doing them in the evening. And now I'm doing them in the evening. And so things are a little off schedule. So I apologize. Coming back to that strength, right? In terms of what you should be releasing, we have that clarified by strength in the reverse, King of Swords and the Hermit here. Yeah, it feels like there's some aspect of what you rely upon in terms of to build you up or your self-confidence or something like that. It feels like that what you rely upon internally, there's like a flea in the ointment. Okay. And it could be varying degrees for various Sagittarius, right? As much as these are general readings, not everybody is going through the exact same experience. Like it could be hitting you at different layers. Okay. So just be mindful of that. Some of you might be really feeling this devil, and some of you, it could be a little bit more of a, like in the minutia, right? Or it could be a more nuanced feeling, that devil energy, okay? Either way, it does feel like some sort of aspect of what you tell yourself and your sense of internal security is being, let's say, manipulated by this devil energy. And it now has become a crutch, and it feels like it's kind of infiltrated in a way that you're relying on whatever this is, and it's not of benefit to you. And so it almost feels like Spirit is coming in and saying, we have to weed this out first and look ourselves with some gentle confrontation here and see what's working, see what's not working, and understand that we can only move forward truly once we've got that sorted, and be open to the universe and whatever opportunity it is that we're seeking. Because all this work that you're doing, or that you feel like you're doing, it's not really getting you any further, right? It's not propelling you in any type of way. You're propelling you, right? You're determined to wake up and do these things, but it's almost like there's no results being shown, because maybe you're even sabotaging all that work that you're doing in some way, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here with this. It just feels like we need to question what, like, not as extreme as this, but like question what we're made of, or at least what we're telling ourselves, right? And so that King of Swords, you know, what fundamental truths are we relying upon? And are they still valid, right? Taking a peek at that. And with that Hermit there, being open to gaining some understanding, right? Being open to learning a lesson here, right? Being open to receiving that lesson. Moving over to that Hanged Man energy, we have that 10 of Swords, 10 of Cups, 7 of Swords, and the King of Cups here. So, and again, there's layers to this, right? So not everything will feel as intense or as potent as, you know, some might feel this really like a lot, and some might not as much. So just take what resonates, Sagittarius, okay? But it feels like there's some aspect of this 10 of Cups happy ending that is not for you, right? It is not yours, or somebody, for some of you, maybe somebody's trying to come in and rain on your, you know, your parade here a little bit. It feels more like you're not allowing full enjoyment here. Okay. Whatever this devil energy is here, it's not ideal by any means. And it feels like it's taking away from some aspect of your full enjoyment and how you navigate that enjoyment with your friends and family and the people that are close to you. Okay. It feels like you're very much, something has been festering here, and it's time to talk about it. It's time to bring it to the surface, or at least start peeling back some layers here so we can investigate what's bugging you. This feels like whatever we're discussing here, it kind of is giving me the vibe of like there's a rock in your shoe, right? And you've been walking so long with this rock, and you're like, oh, something's really hurting. It's really hurting. Like, you know, I really want to like go full out and, let's say, sprint or run to the finish or whatever, but so you're working almost like twice as hard, right? For next to no effort here. And you know, this rock is like really just getting you. It's really getting you. And you could stop and figure out that there's a rock, or stop, take the 5 minutes or whatever to take your shoe off and take that rock out. But there's some sort of aspect here, right? Stubbornness, or, you know, oh, the pain, no gain, or whatever it is, right? There's some aspect of this that you're not taking that rock out of your shoe. And so it feels like it's holding you back from this experience, right? And I'm wondering if there's some sort of isolation here, if you feel alone in if you feel isolated when you're around the people that you love, right? And I'm wondering if that's not because of this kind of double energy that has kind of come in and really solidified its stance in this dynamic. Okay. Yeah, it just feels like a new perspective is definitely required here. And you're no stranger to doing the work, Sagittarius. But for some reason this feels like it's not the work. It feels it's some aspect of admitting this, that isolation, kind of having, looking in the mirror and having an honest conversation about what is missing or what's holding you back, right? What's stopping you from moving on. And with Temperance here, we have the Page of Cups, that Five of Wands, Knight of Swords in the reverse, Knight of Wands in the reverse. For some of you, it feels like perhaps you're lashing out. Perhaps you're angry here. Perhaps you're losing your temper even. Perhaps you're being so stubborn that you're not allowing yourself to really see what's happening, right? Eight of Pentacles, we're so focused on making this work. We're not taking a step back to see what other factors may be impacting this dynamic here. But it almost feels like you're kind of lost in the sauce a little bit, and you need to take a step back, right? And find that balance again, find that harmony, right? Because it's almost like this is a facade here, and there's an opportunity to realize that. There's an opportunity to realize, okay, yes, there's balance, right? If we look at this as it is, with that Six of Pentacles, Devil, and that Six of Cups, yeah, okay, we can say arguably, yes, that's balanced. But is it balanced in the right way, right? And is it true balance, right? With that double energy in there, right? I can't answer that. Only you can. And it feels like maybe that's part of the component that we've been avoiding. Okay, Sagittarius, we're going to go ahead and get some final thoughts here. Death. Yeah, something needs to happen, right? Some change and transformation needs to take place here. And it feels like with that Wheel of Fortune, that's happening here, that Chariot, you're kind of moving forward into that Wheel of Fortune energy, where it does feel like it's going to kind of throw some things for a loop for you. And, it feels like the struggle, or maybe what you've been pushing against, is some transformation, having that conversation with yourself, right? Opportunity here, Six of Wands. So another six, right? And really, oh, so funny. Using your energy, using your passion in the best possible way, right? And having some sort of recognition that you're doing the right thing. And I'm wondering, maybe is that a part of it, where we're looking for that external validation to understand? And Leo is kind of going through this as well, that external validation. Maybe are we relying on that a little too much? Maybe are we relying on our physical things here to, like, being a little bit materialistic, right? To fulfill us. I'm wondering if that's a component here as well. Knight of Cups, in terms of what we should be releasing. Again, Knight of Cups right there in your shadow here. Did we have the Knight of Cups again anywhere else? No, we didn't. Okay. He's playing chess, right? He's looking you in the eye, and it really does feel like, let's strategize. Let's figure this out. Let's work to understand. But also on the other side of that, it's like almost like, okay, let's play chess. Like, how can I maneuver away from this a little bit, right? There's a resistance very much that I'm feeling here. And it's almost like, okay, if you need to, let's start there. Why are you feeling resistant? Right? And let that be the door that opens you up to this conversation, right? The world as kind of that final point on what you should be embracing. Some loop needs to close, Sagittarius, and that's really what this feels like, right? It feels like we've been going round and round and round here, and that is, quite telling as well as we close out the year, right? 2026. We want to tie up these loose ends. We want to close out 2025 nicely. We want to look back and reflect and see how this year has benefited us, and go through that for ourselves. And yeah, it feels like it is an opportunity here to close out some major loop for you. And it's just a matter of being open to that, right? But just even in the imagery here, it's just, I'm just questioning, are you ready? Two of Cups in that shadow, Five of Swords, and that Nine of Wands, along with that Six of Pentacles. So again, we go back to a 6, right? And then that 10 of Cups is showing up again. 7 of Wands. Yeah, this could be as it relates to a relationship, right? A partnership here. It could be as it relates to yourself, right? And just having that light versus dark. What you show, the mask you show to the world versus what you feel in your heart, what you feel in your soul. And there's a disconnect there. And it feels like there's been a disconnect for some time. And is now the time to start addressing that, because it feels like certain aspects of that dynamic have been leaking into your physical realm in different ways. And that's how this devil energy solidified himself here, right? Because you started giving a little bit to him in ignoring this dynamic of what was happening internally, right? And so he's kind of he's there, and now we have to work to get him not there anymore. And it's hard, but some would argue necessary. And I think the fact that it is showing up on the board here does speak to it being necessary. And again, you know what I mean? Just with the 2 cups here and the 2 cups here, it's just this idea of that give and take, right? Of that reciprocity. Are you giving in earnest? Are you receiving in earnest? And just having this understanding of where is that disconnect happening, because it does very much feel like it is happening. Okay, so Sagittarius, that is what I have for you. Let's go ahead and get some final clarifiers here. Thank you. Villain, you can always rewrite the story for sure, and if this is something where it's kind of you might be questioning yourself, you might be questioning certain aspects of yourself here, and it feels like we can change that narrative, right? It's up to you to change that narrative. And just because you've been telling yourself that for so long, if that is the case, it doesn't mean you can't correct that and remove that negativity and place grace and love in that story instead, right? Dragons, slay them all, slay your demons, truly slay those things that are holding you back. That 10 of Swords, something needs to end here. Some loop needs to close. It's yearning to close for you. Bitch fire, stand up for yourself, right? Be that flame. You are fire, right? You are that fire element. You have that fire within you, that passion within you. It's almost like you've been stifling your flame is the sense of what I'm getting here. You haven't fully been yourself in this particular dynamic, and it's time to feed your flame, right? And feed it in the best way for you, right? Because it feels like whatever you've been feeding it, even if 80% of it was working, 20% wasn't, and it's time to examine that 20%. Okay, Sagittarius, this is what I have for you as you head into December. I really hope this helps you gain some guidance and clarity. Know that I am with you always, and I appreciate you showing up here, and, show it for yourself. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wish you all the best in December, and you take care. We'll see you next time.